I got a box in today, no idea who it is, what it's from, and nothing on the outside to help me figure that out. So I thought, let's unbox it on camera. Find out what is in the goodie box. This is the problem with having a P.O. box and a very random inbox. Oh man, this is a dangerous box here. You just never really know what's showing up or what to expect. And by the time I check the P.O. box, sometimes there's just a mountain of random stuff in it, so. What are you?
I saw you with the box, what was in the box?
Jeez, it's a very, very dense case. It's a big one. Looks like it's meant to hold some big stuff. But apparently this is from Hibloks. This is their VR portable charging storage bag. That's why it's so heavy. It has some sort of charging built into it. So let's take a look. Oh geez, why would a charging thing come with so many freaking facial interfaces? Okay, ew, what in the world is this? Okay, there's some very weird, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a light diffuser or something, because there's a big vent up top. It's probably where a fan or something hooks into it, I would imagine, by how big these are. But there's like this weird filter. Maybe it's in case it sucks in debris, they don't want to shoot it right into your eyes. But this filter is like barely attached, and like it's very sticky back here. Like that just comes right off. You kind of have to like sticky that back on. But this is a full set. You didn't know. You're not only getting the charging case, you're getting clearish grips. They're definitely Quest 3 at least. Inside here, we got the juice. Please plug the power cable tightly before use. So that must run to some kind of battery bank. I mean, I see the wires running. You got this just magnetic USB-C thing running around from here, which then opens up to here. So maybe there's no actual battery inside. VR or battery? It's got a shoulder carrying strap. It's got a zipper pouch up top. Aha! It does have a gigantic fan. I wonder if Hibloks, maybe they were sending me a whole bunch of stuff all at once and they didn't want to send me all the boxes. So maybe they sent me a facial interface with a fan, they sent me a case, and they sent me a set of grips. So I'm gonna have to review all these separately, which is funny though, because I literally just went on Amazon and bought this myself, which is probably this same thing. This is the facial interface because I didn't know they ever sent it to me. So now we have two. Yeah, this gigantic fan here. Let's see, does it come juiced? It's got a high, low, and off. It's not super high power, but it's similar to the Quest 2 fans were. And then it hooks in there. Boy, that is a big plasticky beast of an interface. Ooh, could they have made that more ugly? I get that you don't have all that Quest 2 space like you used to have. Maybe this is a reused design from the Quest 2, but my gosh, it looks like the Quest is wearing a ball cap now. The nice thing though is it's low enough profile that it probably gives you clearance. And I mean, you can feel that air right in the eyes, like it's blowing directly into your eyes. It could dry your eyes out even. And then what is this a glasses attachment? Oh, well I'm guessing yes, that is some sort of a glasses attachment to give you a little more space. But the fun thing about it is is the top magnetic? It feels like it just wants to fall in there almost like it's magnetic. Well, what the F? This is so random. I guess I've got a case to test, I guess I've got grips to test, and I guess I've got fans to test, which are all separate. So we're gonna have to do a full Hibloks testing and get back to you here on what we've got for you. So give me some time and I will be back with all of this. After several weeks with the full Hibloks kit, these are each sold separately, but they sent us their charging case, their silicone grips, and their facial interface / cooling fan. Let's move through these one by one. We did do a testing review accessories video comparing the different fans that are out for Quest 3 right now, so I'm gonna move through this one pretty quickly. Hibloks fan, 2 fans on top. They pull inwards, so they're blowing air directly in towards your eyes. They have a magnetic, at least somewhat magnetic, removable bit for glasses wearers. It also makes it a little easier to swap between pads. And this one, unlike the other one I actually bought, came with 2 alternate pads. So this one gives you the pleather option as well, which I liked a little better. And one little very odd benefit of the big ass fan on the front is that the whole thing stands up a little better. Like when I'm installing stuff on Quest, I'm like, hey, this now stands on its own. It's probably great for my lenses that I'm spinning it like that, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do when you're testing stuff. The fan has a couple settings. One is actually a alternating. It goes from low up to high, down to low up to high. It changes up, but it's not a fast shift like some of them, so it's nice that it doesn't go, it's like a gradual change. Setting 2 is just high. You can tell it's a little hard to find these things from the front, which does deliver quite a bit of air, although it is going into your eyes. So if you're a contact wearer, you're probably gonna dry your eyes out. Very little light bleed on it, although the facial interface itself does not match my face very well, where these sides aren't really touching, but at least the padding is keeping the light out. Got a weird baseball cap look, which I talked about. It adds a little bit more of a risk of hitting it because it's sticking out so much further, especially if you came from Quest 2, you might have gotten used to by now being able to really bring your controllers close to your face. Now you got this sticking way out the front. The prices vary because there's a couple different models that either come with just the ice silk style padding from that AMBR one we reviewed, or the ones that also include the pleather, but you're looking at about $40 to $50 on Amazon with coupons. Ultimately for me, the fan does a good job of cooling you. It works fine. I didn't recommend it, especially over my current favorite. The S3 has a built-in fan that works off the battery pack itself. This one, you're back to having to remember to charge this thing. You're having to remember to turn it off after you're done playing. And so more often than not, I'd find I came out and it was just dead. As we tested before, also no-go if you got the official Meta charging dock. That facial interface is just thick enough that it just does not want to connect and charge on there. Another con for it. Ultimately for me, Hibloks fan was a no-go. It's fine, it's decent. If you had one and you used it enough, you'd probably be like, it's okay, but there's better things out there. There's other fans in production. There's other ones we're testing. So for me, no-go on the fan. The grips, however, they're not the most advanced grips out there. They're just silicone. I do kind of like that they are clear silicone. It means that the infrared lights shine through them just fine. It's not like these where it's got cutout holes for them, and if for some reason this had gotten out of alignment or something, it was off to the side, this would then cause interference with the tracking. This, at all times, the lights can shine right through, including that lower light down in the bottom there. That can shine through just fine, so you just don't really have to worry about the infrared lights on it as much. I say it's less advanced because a lot of them now have like their own battery door, and you can open it up and get the battery out. You're changing batteries so rarely in these, that's not a deal breaker, but it's just if you want something a little bit more advanced. These are pretty basic. My favorite part about them though is the hand strap. It seems like this new knit band, similar to like the head strap on the Apple Vision Pro or like all of the grips that I've currently been using for the Quest 3, that seems to be becoming kind of a standard, which I like it because it's comfortable. It adds a little bit of breathability. But one area where this one tricked me, unlike the other ones though, you see that and you think, oh, it's what you're used to, it's what you're familiar with. The inside is actually a flat cloth. So it looked like it was that, it was not. But it's still comfortable, it still feels fine on your hand. It just doesn't quite feel as good as what I was used to in the other ones. These aren't my favorite grips by any means, but they're pretty decent compared to what else is on the market. So if these are on like a really good price or something, a really good sale, these are a fine set if you just want a decent silicone grip that feels good in your hand. Because honestly, compared to my other silicones I've been using, this feels even better to me. It doesn't have the battery door, which means it's not rubbing on my hand weird. The texture on it feels really nice. It has this thumb resting spot that's kind of ribbed up here on top, which I found it's just kind of a nice spot. Like it helps your thumb just stay there. It just feels comfy. Where this one, if you throw your thumb off, you're just kind of putting it either on this edge or you're over here covering lights. It just gives a good landing spot for it, which I like that about it. So for the grips, there will be a link with that same caveat though. If they're on a great sale or something and you just need a basic set of grips, I am liking these. And they do have their color matching, kind of matching the branding for Hibloks here, even with the case. The case is probably the most advanced thing of all these, so that's where we're gonna spend the bulk of our time here. It calls itself scratch resistant because of this weird diamond pattern it has on it. Impact resistant, it is pretty strong of a case. And what it is it's a charging case. But one thing that I did like about it is it has multiple straps that hold everything down really nicely. The biggest thing I don't like about it though, and ultimately why I'm not gonna recommend the case at all, is really only gonna fit a stock strap. Like even some of the most basic Elite straps, but the big problem right now that it's having is I'm using their Hibloks fan with their Hibloks case and the fan is kind of in the way. So if you were to take that out and you fold your Elite strap down like this, then it's actually a decent fit. You can actually get it in there okay, close it up. It's not putting too much pressure on it. So it's more meant for a stock strap, which I hate this chalk strap thing, you know that. But ultimately, my loves are Halo straps and there's just no way. You know what? Okay, I take that back. My loves are the Halo straps. And with some real push, you can actually get the S3 in here, which is shocking. The S3, as we showed you in that one case video, breaks down to a lot more cases than you'd expect. It requires much more careful packing, and you are putting some pressure to close it. But in a pinch, this case would work. It's just not as good as, I know there's more cases coming, there's other cases I'm testing that have all the room for it, but if for some reason you needed a really small, it's not that much smaller, but if you needed a smaller case, it could work. But the price on this case is not cheap because of the charging function. What does this case have? In the front here, this rubber door opens up and you've got a charging port that passes through charging the inside. You've got a switch that switches between running 2 different charging or just one. The one that the kill switch kills is this top one. This is additional if you just want to charge up a battery bank, if you did want to charge a fan, although with their fan sticking way out the front here, I couldn't get it to close with it charging and that on there. But if you did have some other kind of fan that fit in there, and then it includes a magnetic charger, which I actually really like that they did that. That's really smart. It means you just snap this on, you push this down to the side, and you can close the case. And then if you forget it's there and you go to pull your thing out, it just comes out. You know, if you were to have this plugged in there and you went, you'd pull your case off. If your controllers are resting in there, they might go flying. Their case feels like they designed it not really for anything but the stock controllers as stock as they come. It does have this strap that holds them down, and at least with their grips, you can get them in there a little bit better. But other grips have been a bit more finicky about fitting, especially my favorite grips because they have this long clip off the bottom here. These don't really like to go on this case, but these 2 grips seem to go okay. It's got this strap just for the controllers, so you strap them down, and that's just Velcro. You can actually strap anywhere inside the case, which is kind of nice. Controllers get locked in, you put your headset in, hook your little magnetic charger to it, plug this in here. Just for demonstration, I'm gonna try and show you some of this with the fan in. So now I've got the fan charging on top, I've got the headset charging, and the little magnetic cable does have a little blue light also to show you that it actually has power. I did find in testing though, I've gotta warn you, the cable that actually runs the magnetic charger here is finicky. It's not always wanting to stay in. Sometimes it gets disconnected, so you can see the blue light here. Even just a little wiggle. I didn't pull it out at all. A little wiggle and that's coming undone. And that is built into this case. It's not like you can easily replace that. So I feel like this component here is just kind of cheap. But in theory, if you do everything right, everything's working right, you could be charging a battery bank and your headset. You could be charging a fan and your headset. And if you have a fan other than the Hibloks one, you might be able to get it shut. And then on the outside here, we've got some more information being relayed. You can see the blue light is showing right now. Both of these are on, or you flip the switch up and then it's only charging the VR headset. It says VR at the top. I believe that is to enable their 40-watt fast charging so that this thing is charging at its maximum speed. One last clip pulls it all together. You've got a pocket up here to shove random crap in. It shows them putting like iPads and stuff up here. I don't think you're gonna be able to fit all that with it. And this is not the way you should do it. I'm doing it right now because it's putting a lot of pressure on that USB cable it's running to the fan itself. But in theory, you could have a Quest case that's always sitting, charging up, and then when you come back to it, it's been protected in the case and it's ready to play. The worries that I have there is if you forget to turn the headset off, I don't love the idea that you're now fast charging it with 40 watts. And as you know, if for some reason this thing turns on, it's running a lot of heat out the top anyways, you're closing it all in. It's a risk of just leaving a lot of heat on it. The front components in it feel cheap. They don't always work the way you want. You might pull it out and find out it didn't charge because this thing had been wiggled by the headset you'd shoved in there. So ultimately the case, it had potential. I just wish they'd built it a little stronger, a little bit bigger, a little more room to grow, and with a little less cheap of components. Because I mean, this whole unit, when you look at it, it just looks like it's a cheap plastic thing in here. Feels like you could rip it off if you really tried. So ultimately, I don't love the case. It's a cool idea. It feels like it needs more development. The fan, the facial interface feels like it was pulled forward from the Quest 2. It even looks like it's supposed to fit on top of a Quest 2, not a Quest 3. It's not the most comfortable. The grips are fine. They're decent. I like them. I might actually swap out my backup ones and use these instead of these. They just don't have a battery door, but they feel better in hand. And if they were on a good sale, I would say those are worth checking out. So in the description, there'll be a link to these in case you want those. There'll be a link to the current accessories that I'm really liking, especially this S3 Pro, which has the fan on it, kind of eliminates at least a decent amount of the need for this. So what do you think? Do you have anything from Hibloks so far you're liking? Is there anything from them I haven't checked out you'd like me to check out? Let me know in the comments down below, but I want to say thank you once again for being here with me. So many videos lately that we're getting out to you. You all seem to be really happy that we've been so consistent. So we're pushing to have one full video like this, whether it's news, reviews, games, every day to you. That's the goal. So thank you once again, and I'll see you in another reality.